Hello everybody, back with my noisy fan. This is going to be a fairly quick recap on what I started yesterday. The fabric, the linen was printed, and then I cut out a large version of my Grecian tunic. Once I've done a whole lot of stitching on here, the garment will shrink somewhat to a smaller size, so that's why I've cut the larger size. So that's the front I have laid out here. Quick look at the back. This is the centre back seam here. Back to the front. Okay, so my way of working is once I've got my fabric ready, perhaps the garment cut out, I then go into my stash of stuff and just start pulling out stuff that seems to me might work. So essentially I regard this as the bottom layer of the textile art, and I'm going to use the various areas that have been printed on the fabric here to guide me in making different types of embellishments over those areas. So this is ground level, the big first layer of the embellishment process. And I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I've pulled out of my stash. Some stuff may get used, some may be completely irrelevant, and so this is just stuff that I play with by bringing out, putting onto the surface and auditioning, as they say, to find out whether it speaks to me. So here's a bit of transparent synthetic blue netting, and this has got great potential. I'd probably do some stitching on this and then put it in a patch somewhere on the surface. While I'm here, I'll show you the offcut of the linen that was cut away when I cut out the Grecian tunic. So there's a really big offcut here. This will give me lots of potential to add more stuff from this if I wish. Another fragment left over from various other projects. Once again, those blues and greys tying into the seam quite nicely. Now I started down here yesterday putting a little applique on through the centre there, well, onto the lower third really, and a couple of little appliques on the side here. Now you may note when I was looking at the fabric I was going to use yesterday, I was really excited about these little strings that hang off here, which would have originally been the ties to close the doona cover, and I have left them on that edge there. So now in my process of thinking about what to add next, because I really love those little ties and that orange, how it combines quite well with this linen, and they were once together for who knows how many years, so I feel like they're kind of in a bit of an old married relationship, this orange and this natural linen. So this is a fragment that was cut away from the original doona cover, and I'm thinking of appliquing that perhaps on that angle across the front of the garment like that. We shall see. That's one idea. This is some more of that spot fabric that was my first long thin applique piece along here. I've got a nice big piece of that to add more in places if I wish. What I was really excited about to find in my stash were these lovely cotton doilies that I bought in Tamworth from the Binny's recycle shop. I bought these about a month ago. These lovely crocheted doilies. These three pieces were $3, and they're made in an intriguing way. This sort of double layer there, and I'm definitely going to use these. I just love these doilies. So I think the first thing I might do is actually cut them up a bit. Oh, look, give me 1 minute and I can lose my scissors. I can't find my new dressmaking scissors that I bought about a month ago at the moment, so I'm having to fall back on my old blunt ones. There we go, found them under the pile there. Kind of sad to cut them up and destroy their what they authentically were in the beginning. But you know, I think it's going to be a really, really, really long time before doilies come back into fashion. So I'm not saving them for that long. And in the meantime, I can put them to good use with this, recycling them to give them another life on this garment, hopefully for another 10 or 20 or 50 years. Okay, so I'm cutting out that lovely mandala section, I call it, from the center, and I think that will release that second layer there. Yeah, it has too. I thought it would do that. Yeah, so there we go. Wow, I've dismantled that little doily there, and I've got 3 pieces that I can use, and I will definitely be colouring them. I'll be taking that white back. I'll be overpainting that for sure, because the white is not going to work on here. Okay, so doilies are like possibly the most exciting thing I've got to play with here at the moment. Bits of fabric I've showed you, and look at this really neat novelty yarn that I bought. I did buy this new. Sometimes I succumb to stuff like this because it was so unique. It's like the old candle wick. Yeah, so I'm thinking about maybe couching on the surface here with some of this yarn. And then I also have a thin wool. This one is an upcycle, a recycle from, you'll know if you shop in second-hand shops regularly that there's masses and masses of leftover yarns donated to them. And this lovely colour is a wool as well. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to show you here is I have another doona cover, this lovely sort of denim-y blue linen one, and I think I will most likely finish this tunic off in the same way as I did the ancestor country, by making an underdress and using it as a lining and a longer layer underneath the top. So that's on hand too, to use that lovely denim-y blue linen doona cover. So just a little recap on how I'm randomly selecting bits and pieces and playing with how I might add them to the surface.